Sharper Point Commentary, presented by Schwartz Laser Eye Center.
In looking back, I realized over the last 3 days, my commentary has been about our ridiculously hot heat in the valley. Today will be about heat, but not actual heat. Instead, it'll be about the euphemistic heat being put on Joe Biden to step aside and let someone else top the ticket in order to give Democrats their best chance at beating Donald Trump, the exact reason Biden said he ran in the first place. So a couple of big things will happen today to help determine how much hotter it gets for Biden. 3 of President Joe Biden's top political advisors will attend a special caucus lunch at the Democratic Senatorial Campaign Committee meeting today to listen to Senate Democrats' concerns about Biden's ability to beat former President Donald Trump in November and whether he could perform so badly that it wipes out many senators' chances of getting reelected and the chances of Democrats hoping to get elected for the first time to the U.S. Senate, like Arizona U.S. Senate candidate Ruben Gallego, who's currently leading Republican Kari Lake in the polling. But does Biden end up dragging Gallego down? Here's Arizona Republican political consultant Stan Barnes of Copper State Consulting.
I think candidate Gallego is going to do his best to put distance between himself and Joe Biden.
But that's the needs of the politicians we're talking about here. What about the voting public's needs? The people who will have to decide if a guy has what it takes at 81 years of age to lead the country. And for that matter, a guy who's only a couple of years younger than Joe Biden, a guy named Donald Trump. Well, while a new ABC News Washington Post Ipsos poll shows that the two candidates are in a dead heat, see more hot there, and shows that half of Americans believe that Trump should step aside, that number hasn't changed since Donald Trump was convicted of all those felonies in relation to his business dealings. But what has changed is this. Most Americans, 2/3, 67%, believe Biden should step aside and let someone else run rather than continue his campaign for president. KTAR senior political analyst Mike O'Neill asked the ultimate question, a question that only Joe Biden can answer.
Will Joe Biden drop out? Dropping out on his part would be a very bitter pill. He's worked his whole life towards the presidency, run for it 3 times. And for somebody to look in the mirror and say, in effect, I realize I'm not the man I was, I'm losing it. That's very, very tough thing to do.
However,
if there's continued deterioration in his polling numbers and it starts to look futile, I wouldn't be surprised if he reconsiders.
And that's something his inner circle needs to do to help him make that decision that only he can make. Because if Joe Biden is suffering from some type of dementia, he's incapable of deciding for himself, isn't he? And that's why we'll all be watching the other thing I mentioned that's happening today, a press conference at the end of the NATO conference. It'll be Biden's first presser in months, and everybody will be watching closely for those blank stares, missed words, and wandering ways that we've all been seeing for months. And if he looks even close to unsteady, he'll have to step away for the exact reason Biden said he ran in the first place, in order to give Democrats their best chance at beating Donald Trump. And if that's what he does, well, then he certainly can't be allowed to pick his successor, right?
Thanks for watching Sharper Point. Click to see more from Arizona's Morning News and tap the button in the middle to subscribe.